The butterfly effect, how transformation becomes your superpower. The first time I heard KaMillion DeSavante speak about transformation, I felt the universe shift beneath my feet. Not the gentle sway of a passing thought, but the seismic rumble of truth breaking through concrete certainty. Chameleon isn't just a visionary, she's a force of nature who has redefined what it means to evolve authentically in a world obsessed with quick fixes and superficial change. Yeah, her work has created safe harbors for thousands navigating their own metamorphoses, particularly within communities where vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness. Have you ever noticed our cultural obsession with overnight success stories? We're captivated by the idea that someone wakes up one morning completely transformed, their life, career, and essence magically reinvented while skipping all those messy middle chapters. But that's not how butterflies happen, is it? A butterfly doesn't just wake up with wings. No, it endures a complete dissolution of everything it once was. The caterpillar literally digests itself, breaking down into an organic soup before cellular, imaginal discs. Cells that survive the digestive process begin building something entirely new. That's not a makeover. That's not a 5 step program you can complete between Zoom meetings. That's a rebirth. And according to KaMillion DeSavante, that's exactly what authentic transformation demands of us. Transformation is a lifelong process, she emphasized during our conversation. Becoming your true self isn't a destination you reach on Tuesday at 4 p.m. It's an ongoing evolution where every step, especially the painful ones, shapes who you're meant to be. This truth lands differently in a culture obsessed with efficiency. We've been conditioned to believe transformation should be painless, Instagram worthy, and preferably completed within a 30-day challenge. But real transformation, it's gloriously messy. It's frustratingly nonlinear. And sometimes it hurts like hell. Just ask Chamillionaire. Remember Riding? That Grammy winning hit that had everyone singing about trying to catch me riding dirty? That same artist, Hakeem Sariki, has transformed himself into one of the most respected tech investors and entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. But his metamorphosis wasn't overnight. It wasn't a headline. It was a deliberate, often invisible journey spanning years. While still building his music career, Chamillionaire was quietly laying groundwork, opening car customization shops, starting record labels, studying business models that had nothing to do with entertainment. When he eventually stepped into tech investing, the industry didn't exactly welcome him with open arms. Black artists venturing into predominantly white business spaces face skepticism at best, outright dismissal at worst. Yet he persisted, making strategic investments in companies like Maker Studios, later acquired by Disney, Cruise Automation, acquired by GM, Ring, acquired by Amazon, Lyft, and Dropbox. His early bets yielded multi-million dollar returns while he simultaneously built credibility as an entrepreneur in residence at Upfront Ventures. But here's what makes his transformation truly remarkable. Chamillionaire didn't just change careers, he became a bridge. He launched initiatives connecting entrepreneurs of color with investors, co created pitch competitions supporting founders from underrepresented communities, and built Access Club to democratize opportunity. His transformation wasn't just personal, it created ripples that transformed entire communities. And that's the part of transformation we rarely discuss, how our individual metamorphoses create possibilities for others that simply didn't exist before. This brings us to KaMillion DeSavante's second insight: authenticity fuels success. When we align our actions with our authentic purpose, We don't just achieve more, we become more. We create impact that extends beyond metrics and milestones. When you serve as a witness to your own transformation, KaMillion shared, and stay grounded in love for yourself and others, you become a safe space for people on their own journeys. I love that phrase. A witness to your own transformation. It suggests both participation and observation. You're in it, feeling every growing pain, while simultaneously stepping back to acknowledge the process with compassion rather than judgment. This dual awareness creates something powerful: the ability to transform without abandoning yourself in the process. KaMillion herself demonstrated this principle when she spoke at the Think Bold Festival and Conference. As an artist entering entrepreneurial space traditionally dominated by conventional business leaders, she faced the challenge of establishing credibility in new contexts. Rather than downplaying her artistic background or trying to fit some corporate mold, she leveraged her platform for advocacy, sharing her transformative journey with authenticity that resonated deeply with audiences seeking permission to pursue their own paths. By modeling vulnerability paired with strength, she normalized non traditional routes toward success within professional circles historically closed to creative voices. Her presence didn't just inspire individuals, it expanded what leadership could look like in those spaces. This brings us to the third insight from our conversation: empowerment through community. Surrounding yourself with like minded visionaries and supportive networks multiplies growth, KaMillion emphasized. As we uplift ourselves, we create ripples that empower entire communities. We see this principle beautifully illustrated in the growing cohort of Black women entrepreneurs building six-figure businesses without massive audiences or privileged backgrounds. These women face significant barriers: lack of generational wealth, limited industry connections, and persistent systemic obstacles. Yet they're succeeding using smartphones, strong brands, strategic thinking, and perhaps most importantly, community support. They focus relentlessly on clarity and consistency, leveraging digital tools creatively to build direct to consumer models that bypass traditional gatekeepers. Inspired by each other's journeys, they transform adversity into fuel for innovation rather than seeing it as disqualification. Their accomplishments include launching products against tremendous odds, scaling revenues through viral marketing strategies, and crucially, mentoring peers through transparent storytelling online. This is the butterfly effect in action: one transformation catalyzing countless others. But let's be honest, transformation isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it's downright terrifying. When a caterpillar enters its chrysalis, it doesn't know for certain it will emerge as a butterfly. It simply surrenders to a process that requires complete dissolution of its former self. That level of surrender demands tremendous courage. It reminds me of something KaMillion said about the relationship between transformation and fear. The moments that terrify you most are often doorways to your greatest evolution. Think about that for a second. The very experiences we resist, the uncomfortable conversations, the leaps of faith, the necessary endings, are precisely what catalyze our most significant growth. This is why the soft girl era movement resonates so deeply with high achieving Black women who've spent years in survival mode. After decades of leading teams, raising families, holding down households, and carrying communities, many are exhausted from constantly grinding. They're ready to shift from surviving to thriving, to ground themselves in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. This isn't about aesthetics or trends, it's about spiritual, emotional, and mental recalibration. It's about healing from trauma, dropping the superwoman cape, learning to say no without guilt, embracing authentic self love, and often finding faith as a foundation through it all. As KaMillion DeSavante's insights reveal, this kind of transformation isn't just personal, it's revolutionary. When we witness our own metamorphosis with compassion, we create safe spaces for others to transform too. When we surround ourselves with community that nurtures growth, we multiply possibilities for everyone. So, where does this leave us? Standing at the threshold of our own becoming. The invitation for you isn't to transform overnight, it's to embrace transformation as your natural state, to recognize that you are always evolving, always becoming, always in process. The question isn't whether you'll transform, but how consciously you'll participate in your own metamorphosis. Will you fight the dissolution of outdated patterns that no longer serve you? Or will you surrender to the organic wisdom of your own becoming? Will you judge the messy middle of your transformation? Or will you witness it with compassion? Will you transform in isolation? Or will you allow community to multiply your growth? These aren't hypothetical questions. They're daily choices that determine not just who you become, but how many others you empower along the way. The world doesn't need more overnight success stories. It needs more honest witnesses to the beautiful, terrifying, nonlinear journey of becoming. It needs more bridges between worlds that rarely connect. It needs more safe spaces where transformation is honored as both process and purpose. So I challenge you, become a student of your own metamorphosis. Notice what's dissolving within you to make space for something new. Honor the imaginal cells of possibility emerging from what once was. And most importantly, create community that witnesses and nurtures transformation, yours and others. Because here's what I know for certain after my conversation with KaMillion DeSavante: the caterpillar doesn't need external instruction to become a butterfly. The blueprint is already encoded in its DNA. The same is true for you. Your transformation isn't about becoming someone new, it's about becoming more fully who you already are. Your chrysalis moment isn't a detour from your purpose, it is your purpose. Your dissolution isn't failure, it's prerequisite for flight. And your community isn't just support, it's the wind beneath wings you don't even know you have yet. So today, right now, I invite you to stop waiting for transformation and start becoming it, to surrender to the messy, beautiful process of your own becoming, to witness yourself and others with compassion, and to trust that on the other side of dissolution is something more magnificent than you can possibly imagine. Because transformation isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you become. And when you become transformation, you develop the ultimate superpower, the ability to continuously evolve into more authentic, impactful versions of yourself while creating space for others to do the same. That's not just personal growth, that's revolution.